BBC News with Jonathan Izard. The American singer Prince has died at his home in Minneapolis. He was 57. He was widely regarded as one of the most inventive and imaginative musicians of his era. His fusion of rock, funk and psychedelia sold more than 100 million albums. The singer Madonna described him as a visionary, while the soul legend Aretha Franklin called him unique. A small group of fans has gathered in the rain on a hillside opposite Prince's home and studios at Paisley Park. Volkswagen has...
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh. Grammy Award-winning artist Prince, one of the most influential figures in the music industry, has died. He was 57 years old. His publicist confirms that Prince was found unresponsive at his home and studio complex outside Minneapolis today. Through the decades and dozens of albums, classics such as Little Red Corvette, 1999, and When Doves Cry stood the test of time. Stephen Thompson, editor with NPR Music, says Prince's music resonates with generations of listeners.
I think one of the reasons that his music has endured so much, a lot of his songs, a lot of his biggest songs were in the 1980s, and when people think about 80s music, they think about a sound that hasn't necessarily aged well. And I think part of what is so interesting about his records is how unbelievably well they've aged. If you listen to Purple Rain today, if you heard it as a new composition today, you would still be blown away by it.
That's NPR's Stephen Thompson. Volkswagen and the...
This is CBC News. I'm Carol McDowell. The legendary musician and performer Prince has died. Authorities responded to a medical emergency at his home and famed recording studio, Paisley Park, this morning. He was rushed to hospital with flu symptoms 6 days ago, but reports in recent days were that he was improving. His fans and people in the music industry are in shock. Alan Cross is a music historian.
He's up there with Michael Jackson. He's up there with James Brown. And the interesting thing about Prince was that he was able to straddle a whole bunch of different genres. Prince had mastered R&B, and had mastered pop, he had mastered rock. He was a heck of a guitar player. He was a brilliant composer. And one of the interesting things is, in the years to come, are going to be the things that we find in the vaults at Paisley Park. What kind of music did he make that was never released?
Prince won 7 Grammy Awards. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004. He had numerous hits, including Purple Rain, Raspberry Beret, Little Red Corvette, many, many more. Music legend Prince has died at the age of 57. The Crown's case against...
People around the world are reacting to the news that music legend Prince has died aged 57.
Police are saying he was found unresponsive in a lift at his home in Minneapolis.
Celebrities quickly jumped on social media expressing shock and sadness. Will Smith said in a Facebook post that he was stunned and heartbroken and had spoken to him the night before he died.
Madonna called him a true visionary.
Lionel Richie said on Twitter, "I can't believe it. I'm in total shock. So many wonderful memories. I will miss him."
Prince first found fame in the late 1970s and over the next 3 decades became known as one of the most inventive and eccentric forces in the music world.
Prince has had no shortages of aliases during his career. He's been known as the Kid, the Purple Perv, the Minneapolis Midget.
And one of his names was the artist formerly known as Prince, which he adopted in 1993 after a feud with his record company.
Prince shed his name completely and adopted an unpronounceable symbol as his identity.
1959 G. BBC Minutes.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Few entertainers have this kind of impact.
It's like losing a friend, you know. I mean, the catalog of music and the songs and the histories and the experiences.
The iconic Prince has died.
Just want your extra time and your...
He was 57 and had suffered flu-like symptoms for several weeks, found unresponsive in an elevator at his Paisley Park recording studio and home in Minneapolis. The singer-songwriter was a Grammy and Oscar winner and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, releasing 39 albums in 38 years. Perhaps best known, Purple Rain, soundtrack to the movie.
That was such a defining moment in that era for him and for music.
Fox's Kennedy, a former MTV VJ.
Here's a guy who writes this semi-autobiographical film, about his family and about the musicians in Minneapolis and about their struggles, and puts it all out there with music. And when you get to that big crescendo at the end, when Purple Rain plays, I had goosebumps just listening to that.
President Obama just out with a statement saying the world has lost a creative icon. Sales of Prince's music soaring in the wake of his death. 3 albums taking the top 3 spots on the iTunes Top Albums chart. Some Volkswagen owners